Hi, good day, everyone. This is Mohit here, host of Master of Sales, and today we have Sangram Kumar Swain from PERT. He manages sales and he leads sales at PERT. In fact, he has good experience in IoT and home automation industry. So great to have you, PERT. To start off with, just give a brief to the audience. Just give a brief story of how you landed up in sales and what you're doing right now.
Hi Mohit, hi everyone. Good evening. Uh, uh, story when we are asking about Mohit, I am very, you know, very good at storytelling though, right? So, so this is a story I like a bit telling about myself, right? So, how I landed up in sales, it's I cannot say that I landed up in sales. Sales actually grabbed me to some certain extent that sales actually grabbed me. So how it has happened, like I'm literally a theater guy. In college or school, I was a theater guy. My family is into defense, so they were expecting me to go to defense and work in a government organization and all. So I was in a different mindset, right? So I was not into that. My plans or the dreams were different. So I've started, browsing of what I can do extra. But yes, of course, theater was not the line. My kind of person who is actually coming from a tier 3 or tier 4 kind of city, or I cannot say it as a city, it is a village though, right? So in that kind of mindset, it's a retro mindset where people understand the government job, people understand the 9 to 6 office jobs, people understand the defense jobs, people understand factory jobs, right? Going out of the village and working in metro cities and all. uh, Theater was not the topic actually where I could convince my family. So I've started browsing of other ways around, right? So I've thought of going in different ways, doing different stuffs altogether. Planned of going to Pune for National School of Drama and all, where my family was not supporting me. They were just behind me, asking me that, pushing me that, go and try your luck in defense, try your luck in government and all. Somehow in the time frame of let's say 2002 2004 time frame, the technology was booming, internet was booming. The network or software or hardwares are booming, right? I thought of getting trained into that and going into making a career of the technology specifically. Then I've joined a few organizations. Then those guys where I have joined, they told me that, Sangram, why can't you do one thing? You can grab others also and convince others also to come into this platform, because these platforms are technology or the network platform, or let's say the software or hardware platforms are uh, growing or booming in the market. People can create their or have their career growth. Then I been to a market and I've found out different ways of convincing people. I've been to other organizations, factories, banks, asking people, the old age people also, who were retro guys, who were not aware of computer in the time of 2002 2004 era. I think my village or my town, where the banking persons were looking for those kind of trainings, computer trainings mostly, right? I convinced them. I been to their banks and I have trained them, and they have joined our organizations for computer trainings and all. Then I found out that if I can make a hybrid combination, that technology and sales together, that how it will be. And I've gone into that. I was doing good. Young Linux was the company or the organization where the education was happening. TCIL IT was the organization, educational organization where I have worked for or I have got trained technical trainings, what I have done. Then those guys have offered me, those organizations have offered me for their sales development, the educational sales development. Then I've joined, thought of nurturing my skill sets into sales, and I've joined ICFI for the MBA program. And while I was doing or I was pursuing my MBA, then the companies where I have done my SIPs, those companies I have learned many things. I have nurtured my skill sets, and now I'm here doing sales since long time, right? So I haven't chosen it though. Yes, the sales chosen me.
Yeah, great. I totally get that. And in fact, your journey as such speaks a lot about many people who get into sales. It is all techno commercial. You start with technical, you get to know that you can convince people, and then you start getting into sales jobs as well. So, a great story. Now, on the core things. So, what are, according to you, the major things for a salesperson to be successful in your field in home automation and product sales?
See, it's not that no. According to me, it's according to I understand. I take the training from the market itself, right? Earlier, 10 years before, or 11, 12 years before, the sales funda was different. The sales strategies were different. Sales approach were different. If I'll tell about today, the sales approach been evolved and revolution by the sales revolution, many things been changed. The way we were doing sales 10, 12 years before, now we are not doing that way, right? So it's not according to me, it's according to the market itself, that how people want to do sales. Out of the journey what I had, out of the experience what I had within this small time frame, I have created a formula, if I could say. That formula is a stupid formula. I call it a stupid formula, STUPID, stupid formula. So the stupid formula starts with S, which we have started our conversation with S for storytelling, right? So people don't buy your product, people don't buy your solution, people don't get your solution to the problems they have unless until you don't have a great story, right? I do have a watch which is a Timex watch, which is 2,500 rupees if I buy. And I do have another watch which is a Tag Heuer watch, which is 2,50,000 rupees. Both give the time, right? And what exactly people buy? The time. If the time is the problem, if I can see, if I want to see the time, what exactly the time is now, I can see it from the Timex watch. I can see it from the Tag Heuer watch as well, right? What exactly is the story behind the product is giving the value to that, and the customer is actually buying by paying more. What exactly the story behind that? So that story actually makes your product or the solution is extraordinary, that the opponent person is actually willing to get your product into. So the first thing is that the first formula is out of stupid formula. The first letter is S, the storytelling is the fact, the formula what you have to. Then second is the T, the technology behind that. What exactly the technology behind that, and what exactly technology it works on. Then when we are sharing the technology, then the customer or the opponent or the problem who is having, then they intend to buy the product. Okay, this is what the technology I was looking for. Next later, which is not next later, I can correlate to other persons or those who are not into technology sales. They can take the T as trust generating. After you know start telling your story about the product or the solution, then you can generate the trust by giving empathy to the customer. How you are giving the empathy to the customer? That empathy is actually giving out of the story. That empathy is coming out of the story. Which story will be related to his problems? Which story will be actually the practical problems the customers are facing? Then the second letter, which is T, is of technology sharing. If they are technology selling, if they are not technology selling, they can generate the trust. Third letter, which is coming, is U, usability or utility of those products and the services what people are selling. Is it the product is actually useful for me? Is it I am the right customer, or the opponent is the right customer? How he will use the product, how usability, how my product will be usable for the person, then the users or the utility of the product is or the services is coming. So half the way we completed STU. P is the picturization of the product. If they own the product, if they use the product, if they utilize the product, then how the picturization will be, what will they will have the future of the product, what exactly the problem they are solving. If I'll give you one example, that if I want to sell a drill machine, what exactly I'm selling? Is that the drill machine I'm selling? No, exactly, right? I'm not selling the drill machine. I'm selling a hole into the wall, right? So
Right.
so sometimes if somebody will come up saying that okay, I can also give you a product which can give you a hole into the wall, right? Then the usability comes, picturization of usability, that the drill machine can do it easily. Is that a nail cannot do a hole into the wall? A nail also can do. But how easily the person is doing it, that is actually creating a picture. Then the same P is coming up with the price. You are sharing the price. Why the person have to pay extra for something else? Why the person have to buy? What exactly the budget? When you are sharing the price, this is again in a formula. You are using that price also a factor. Productivity of the product. Productivity of the product, again I'm taking the same example of drill machine, that how productive that product will be. Is that only hole in a wall I'm buying, or I can also use it as a polishing machine, or I can also use it as a screwdriver, or I can also use it as a screw remover kit. So these all are the productivity I have to share, or the salesperson have to share to the customer. The fifth one we have stopped it. No, we have crossed around more than halfway. The fifth one is the idea generation and or the interest generation. After you complete your STUP, that idea or the interest generation of the product will come up. And the D is the demonstration. You demonstrate the product, you demonstrate how your service is working, you demonstrate your case studies, that this is what I have sold, this is what the customer have bought, and this is what their feedbacks are. If the services are, if that is coming to the automation, or that is coming to the technology selling, the technology we have to demonstrate to the customer, that how the technology is actually helping us out. This is what called the stupid formula, where people can use it. And I'm sure that everybody is using this formula. Either the way they have to only, where the formulas comes, just because of, we had some experiences out of that.
Right.
Then, is that the formula is actually helping you out for a closer? No. For the closer, there is a formula called FAN, stupid FAN. So FAN is follow-ups, act on the observation, or act on the, whatever you have observed out of this stupid, formula when you're applying it and nurture it. Till that, you cannot close it. So if you agree that the formulas, mathematical formulas or scientific formulas or any kind of formula or chemistrical formulas are coming out of the experience, bad experiences, and as well as the good experiences in the market.
Great, Sangram. So, stupid fan is what we all have to become to generate sales. So, it is basically becoming stupid to become intelligent.
Exactly.
In short words. Great, Sangram.
Great
So,
interpretation.
so you would have led multiple teams, led multiple
Yeah.
stupid fan teams to achieve your targets and quotas. And how do you motivate them to perform better? So, how do you make sure they are stupid? Would be the right question here.
See, I motivate, first myself. That my team is motivated. Again, is that I am motivated to help, right? I am motivated to do something extra. How I motivate my team? I motivate my team helping them close. I motivate my team making them things, making all the things, sales thing easy for them. I making them motivate, or I motivate them by making the stuffs very easy, or they strategize the things. I sit with them. I always run, two step ahead of them, and I show them how to do it. The moment I'm telling them that you own this, you can do it. If I can do it easily, you can do it. That is how they are doing it. If I can say that, is there a way of, or is there a formula to get motivated? There are 7 point, maybe 7.5 uh, uh, crores, or I could say 750 crores people are there in world. 150 people are there in 150 crores people are there in India. Every person will have their own mindset, and every person will have their own motivational factor. Unless until I am not actually judging each and every person's capability, skill sets, how I can use individual person's skill sets, how I can use everybody's, uh, 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 the talent and the productivities and all. Till that, I cannot motivate them. So the only way I am doing it, that I'm letting them follow the path I'm going ahead, and I'm learning out of them also. So it's been 12 years now. I never stopped learning. I learn out of my team also. Sometimes my team motivates me to do more rather than me,
That's
I am
certainly there.
motivating them.
That's certainly
Right.
there.
So see, I'll tell you, in the early days of mine, a small story though. My boss has told me that, Sangram, you have to cover one area, right, today, and you have to come up with a result. I told that, okay. I was a person who wanted to prove myself, and prove means I was more competitive. There were many persons in that organization, and I was feeling that I will be the number one person there, right? Then I been to that area, and I have done 40 calls that day, reaching out every building, going to the top floor, and taking the stairs, going to the next floor, going to the next floor, and covering entire floors and all. I've done 40 calls. Then with the notes and the requirements and the leads, I came to office and I showed the same leads to my boss. I told boss, I have done 40 calls today. I thought he will be happy, right? Then he just told me that, Sangram, you missed Indian Oil. You didn't go been to Indian Oil, right? So rather than appreciating my job, he told me that you missed Indian Oil. That day I understood that it's not about actually making somebody happy. It's about doing it properly, doing it perfectly, right? And that day my boss also told me that that Sangram, I learned one thing out of you, that how to do 40 calls a day. I was thinking that this is impossible, that nobody can do 40 calls a day, right? Today, I give examples of those experiences to my team, that people can do even 100 calls. I do give them formula. I tell them that this is what the formula, what you have to do to do 100 calls a day. Physical meetings I'm talking about. And my people are doing physical meetings of 100 calls, because they have generated so many hands into the market, that for them, all these persons, for their partners, only doing 10 calls. So if they have 10 partners with them, so each partner is doing 10 calls, then that means they are doing 100 calls, physical meetings. So they are replicating themselves into the market. I wanted to replicate myself into my team. How I work, how I change, how I revolve out of their knowledge also. How I educated, I get educated by their knowledge also. Right. So this is how I motivate. I work with them. It's not that I only drive them though. I always work with them.
Great, Sangram. And as you told, 40 that time was difficult and 100 this time is possible, because it's all following those processes. And on another front, you told that you're competitive. Salespeople are, let's say, fired by competition, that, okay, I have to be the best. In your experience, there are many different user types, of course, but what do you suggest? Incentives based on effort, or getting that competitive spirit in, or recognizing someone that, okay, maybe he didn't close the most revenue, or he didn't do the most calls, but clap hands for him, everyone. So what specific strategies, like good incentive structures, or good competitive environment where you're tracking how many calls is he doing, whoever is first gets a round of applause, or just customer feedback, and okay, he got good customer feedback, we appreciate that part of him. So what are specific strategies which are used in with teams, more or less?
Mohit, I believe in hybrid solution for everything. Right. So when I'm talking about hybrid solution, that means I am not into one and only point. I mix and match. That possibility is how I can appreciate my team or motivate my team in the factor of giving them incentives. Incentives also for me, it's not only for the revenue closers though, that is also for the efforts they are generating, or let's say leads generation or something, also for the efforts also. And attitude is something towards the work, which is also getting incentives for them. So there are three ways of in my organization, at least, where I have implemented that. There are three ways to earn incentives. One is your attitude towards the work. Either you are competitive, either you are proactive towards your company or customers, or how you are handling your customers. Then also you are getting incentives. How you are generating your revenues month on month, or quarter on quarter, or year on year, you are getting incentives, which is common in the market. And as well as I give the efforts, even if they are not able to close the deal, right? Because I believe that everybody is not your customer. There is a group of people who are your customer, right?
Right.
So if you go to 100 people today, it's not you are not assured that 100 people will buy from you, right? That is the reason you've been to 100 people, or else you could have stopped by 10 people only, right? So 10 people will buy out of that. So you know that. But still, sometimes what happens, there is some circumstances which got delayed your sale closer. Then also the efforts should be appreciated by the organization, where the person will put the similar efforts or the more than that effort to get it closed, right? So the three ways we go into to motivate or nurture my team.
Great, Sangram. So yeah, just carrying on that front, we have a small rapid fire section where we take opinions. and that gets to people that, okay, how do they think sales is? So first one is quota or no quota.
No quota.
No quota. Any specific reason? Because normally sales is defined by quotas and targets.
See, I believe in targets though, but yes, what happens, people should come up with their numbers. What I do since 12 years now, I ask them numbers, not I never give them number. I never take from any organization. I tell them that this is what the number I can come up with. Because what happens if I give them a number that is been, a load for them. If they come up with a number, then that is their commitments, right? And that commitments have came out of their matureness from the market, their practical understanding of the market and all. So every time the people who are there in my team or in any organizations, I had every organization I made a hybrid team. I call my team as a hybrid team, right? So all the hybrid team member, they came up with the numbers, and every time the numbers they aware of that what exactly we have to do because they are competitive, right? So other, let's say I'm giving one example of when I was there in Sharp, right? Sharp as a display is a competitor to Samsung and LG, right? So if I understand the competition market, that what Samsung is doing, 1 crore of business a month in this location, then I have to do 1 crore and 20 lakhs of business this month. Even if Sharp is telling that you have to do 80 lakhs of business this month, that is not my number. The number is the market, which is potential, right? So every person is a matured person. Every sales guy is a matured sales guy. Everybody, even my mom is a salesperson, even my father is a salesperson, even my kid is a salesperson. Everybody is selling something or something to somebody,
Truly,
right?
truly agree to
So
that.
they know what they are exactly selling. So I am asking them to come up with the commitments, not I give them.
Got it. So yeah, that's your view. And what do you think? Product-led growth or sales-led growth for a product like yours? Should it be that this is a great product, you create inbound campaigns for it, people try it and buy it, or there is a heavy sales process, salespeople go, they show the demo, and then people die? What is your vision for, let's say, home automation?
Sales-led growth. Let me explain that. I'm not a stereotype though, right? So sales-led growth, why I tell that you can sell garbage also, right? You can sell garbage. You need to know where it is getting sold. What is the usability of that, right? Every product in the market is usable and useful for something else or somebody else. As I told, there are 765 crores people around world, and out of that there are people who are customer for some or the other product. Even if you don't have features in your product, even if you don't have anything into your product, let's say you are selling a mango stick, right? A stick. You need to know that whom you want to sell, who is your customer, why he will buy it. Even if you have a golden stick also, if you don't know your customer, then you cannot sell it. You cannot come up with a business. You cannot do the business, right? So it's always, sales led growth, what I prefer.
Inbound or outbound? Like, should leads come to you inbound, or you should go get the leads?
If I'm not wrong, inbound is also one outbound, which is digital way what I understand is inbound is also outbound. Unless until you are not outbounding yourself, that inbound also will not come. How it is, let's say you are getting leads out of internet, you are getting leads out of somebody is calling you. How they are calling you? Unless until you are not educating them, unless until you are not outbounding yourself into digital media, unless until you are not outbounding yourself into the practical market or physical market,
So
right?
what
So
I
this
meant
is
here is,
both.
no, what I meant
Yeah,
here is ads or salespeople pushing out, or
both.
salespeople approaching account management. Both you would,
Both.
but if you had to choose one among these,
Salespeople.
salespeople. Understood.
Yeah,
Happy customers or happy teams?
happy teams.
Happy teams.
Happy
That's
teams.
normally we interact with salesperson and it is all about happy customers. But someone who cares
I
about
can say
teams.
that, uh, uh, when my team is happy, they can make customer happy as well,
No, so this
right?
question meant that
So, so
in
yeah.
a situation where you have a choice that you will bend over to make the customer happy, or you will bend over to make the team happy and customer unhappy. What would you choose in that segment?
See, there are many situations because I'm not able to correlate to those situations. I can tell you one instant, let's say. Uh, One customer have called my team on Sunday that you have to come to my home, right? And the customer keep on giving the timelines to him by you come down to this time. Let's say this is a corporate customer though, and he was chasing him or following up with him for till Friday night, right? Haven't given him. Now he is asking the team that you come down on Sunday, right? If my team will go to, or one person will go to his house for the meetings, I think he will be happy as well, and I think I will be having a closer as well, right? But we are setting off a wrong trend in the market. The moment the salespersons are giving on Sunday time, the productive day like Monday and Tuesday will be spoiled up because the Sunday been used, right? So in that kind of instance, I think we can ask customer, we can make customer anytime happy. That, no, I don't understand in the stereotype of mindset in the sales that why we want to make customer happy. We have to think about we are doing business. It's all about business. If the customer doesn't need anything, they will not buy. If the purpose is not solved by your product or service, they will not buy. The purpose is solved by their budget, they are anyway happy. If they are not able to buy your no, so the product or services, then that means they are buying something else which is actually making them happy. So anyway, they are happy by taking your product or somebody else's product.
Perfect, perfect. That actually explains a lot of around this. That you can have happy teams focused on product, and customer will get happy by the happy team and the product, and nothing else. Truly, truly understand
Exactly.
that. So yeah, great session. In fact, great learnings as well as to how you approach the market, and we would wind it up. So, any closing thoughts you would want to give to someone who is joining sales now? What's one skill they should focus on?
That what skills they are perfect with. Let's say I would say that don't worry about the sales strategies, don't worry about what others are telling, right? Don't be a ship in the ship line. You have to break the line. If you know what exactly you are doing is right, do it. If you think that your strategies are going to kill the market and do the sale, do it. Don't hesitate doing something new. If you are doing something new in sales, if you are coming up with new strategy, if you are thinking that that will break the market, do it. That is how I grow. That is how I see people growing, and that is how I am confident that you can also do.
Great. Thanks, Sangram, for the closing thoughts, and happy
Thank
to
you.
have you here.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank